Galnet News, review of the year 3302. We recall the year so you don't have to. Part 1. January to June. January. The year starts with UA bombing at Obsidian Orbital. The new station is a prime target for commanders collecting the new unidentified artifacts and selling them on the black market for a healthy profit. The link to the shutdown of station services is discovered by accident. The search for barnacles in the Pleiades sector reaches fever pitch after the leak of a few frames of video and some cryptic messages. When the first barnacles are found in Merope, a new material, meta-alloys with magical healing properties, is discovered along with them. This material brings Obsidian Orbital back to life. The wreck of the cruise liner Antares is discovered. Lost 50 years ago, it appears that a cascade failure of the ship's power plant and the hyperdrive's containment systems triggered a massive explosion within the drive. There are no organic remains, but the 50-year-old mystery is resolved. Sirius Corporation investigates the causes. President Zachary Hudson is inspired by the discovery of the Antares to search for the wreck of Starship One, the federal presidential ship which disappeared a year ago, carrying then-President Jasmina Halsey. A faction called Emperor's Dawn attempts insurrection within the Empire. With limited support, the uprising is swiftly put down. A commander travels from Sol to Sagittarius A-star in less than 8 hours. The galaxy is shown to be a small place after all. February. Senator Denton Petraeus is promoted to Admiral after the successful rout of Emperor's Dawn. Professor Palin, researcher into unidentified artifacts and meta-alloys, sets off for a new base on Maya B1BA, but his ship goes missing without trace. Large quantities of meta-alloys are now being sold on the black market at Obsidian Orbital to what are believed to be front companies for a big conglomerate. Aisling Duval launches a campaign to free imperial slaves, calling slavery anachronistic. The remains of Starship One are discovered, and the cause of failure is linked to a catastrophic failure of the power systems in a manner strikingly similar to the Antares disaster. President Hudson announces that the sister ship of the lost Starship One, a modified beluga liner, will be replaced with a pair of more reliable Farragut battlecruisers. Many escape pods are found at the wreck site of Starship One, including the injured but intact President Jasmina Halsey. March. There's turmoil in the Federation, where there's confusion about whether Jasmina Halsey should be reinstated as president. Plans are made to revive her from stasis. Professor Palin is found in an escape pod. He claims he was held for days and interrogated about his research into unknown artifacts. The identity of the abductor remains unknown. Within a week, though, Palin is back at work and announces that meta-alloys can indeed counteract the effects of unknown artifacts, and appeals for meta-alloys to begin building UA-resistant cargo holds. The Distant Worlds expedition reaches Beagle Point. And Lave Radio appeals for blood crystals to upgrade its broadcast systems so that its broadcasts can start on time. April. Professor Palin announces his retirement from active research amid concerns that his UA-resistant cargo holds could be used for smuggling. The federal Hand in the Head campaign to remove Onion Head from federal territories flops. A campaign is started to bring back the Bourbon to Epsilon Indy in the wake of a federal crackdown. The Fuel Rats announce their 10,000th rescue. The recently revived Jasmina Halsey makes a series of apparently incoherent statements about her experiences after the destruction of Starship One, and appeals for exploration data to find the true architects of creation. And Queen Jezza claims sovereignty of Sagittarius A star. May. Jax announces plans to take his station on a massive cross-galaxy jump to Beagle Point. He appeals for fuel, but his station is also sabotaged by UA bombing, and shortly after departure, the station goes missing. Ex-President Halsey undergoes psychiatric evaluation. Thoughts of reinstating her as president are quietly forgotten. And the evil Don Antonacci summons pirates to a battle royale against the Hutton Truckers in the Weird system. June. The wildcard playoff for the Dangerous Game begins. The EG pilots storm all 3 stages to become one of 6 factions competing to become a galactic power. Farragut battlecruisers are seen patrolling Merope. The Federation denies any aggressive intent despite allegations of unprovoked attacks on Canon interstellar vessels. A fuel rat is destroyed in a cowardly ambush by a Python, who claims to be collecting a bounty on the rat. A garbled message is received from Jacques' station, indicating that the station is intact. A search of systems near Beagle Point proves fruitless, but within 2 weeks Commander Cly has located the station about halfway to its destination and not far from the galactic core. Jacques describes the failure of his systems in witch space and the agonising decision to drop to normal space to avoid the station being destroyed. A relief effort to take meta-alloys to the station gets underway. And the rise to power begins, with 6 factions competing. You can hear the second part of the Galnet News Review of the Year 3302 on Hutton Orbital Radio on Thursday night at 20:30 Galactic Standard Time. Galnet News? We read the news so you don't have to. Galnet News Review of the Year 3302. We recall the year so you don't have to. Part 2. July to December. July. The Dangerous Game's rise to power runs throughout the month. EG Pilots, the wildcard entry, storms every event, helped by factional squabbling between the other entrants. The Empire and the Federation compete in the Pleiades for control of meta-alloys. Both major powers move battlecruisers into the region. Many pilots carry meta-alloys to the stranded Jacques station to repair it. The August exodus, the jaunt to Jacques, is announced with the aim of establishing a new colony in the Colonial Nebula. President Jasmina Halsey, who's had strange visions since the destruction of Starship One, is released from psychiatric custody and immediately announces that she'll leave Federation space and will make her new home in Alioth, the capital of the Alliance. Prime Minister Edmund Mahon condemns the escalating tension between Federation and Empire. Canon Interstellar discovers images encoded in bursts of sound emitted from unknown probes when they're scanned. August. An attempt is made on the life of Admiral Denton Petraeus, and Kahina Loren simultaneously reports that she's been kidnapped. A garbled last transmission from her ship claims that events in the Pleiades, the Formidine Rift, the conflux and Hawkins Gap are somehow all linked. An antique Cobra Mark III is moved into position in the Tionisla orbital graveyard and starts broadcasting the sequence of letters EAFOTS repeatedly. This is seen as a clue to the location of the Formidine Rift mystery. Stagnation in the market for battlecruisers is blamed on the London Arms Limitation Treaty of 3278. The only bright spark on the horizon is a start-up, Metadrive Incorporated of Chi Orionis, which specialises in hyperdrive technology. However, it's revealed that Metadrive is in financial difficulties. And commanders Noktrach and Ihazevich discover the remains of what appears to be a crashed alien spacecraft on a remote planet in the Pleiades sector, following the release of partial information by an incompetent gang of extortionists known as the Granger Gang. September. An Imperial interdictor is dispatched to guard the newly discovered alien wreck. Kahina Loren is accused of having been the mastermind behind the attempted assassination of Admiral Petraeus. She's arrested and moved to Achenar to await trial. Latugara plc announces an initiative to build a string of 6 outposts linking Colonia to the Old Worlds. Ex-President Jasmina Halsey, who moved to Alioth following her rescue from the wreck of Starship One, speaks of her psychedelic vision for a place of extraordinary beauty, a paradise. It's announced that the chairman of Metadrive Incorporated, Femi Dakarai, has passed away following a short illness. October. A further part of the transmissions from the antique Cobra at Tionisla is decoded, and is once again interpreted as pointing to specific systems in the area of the Formidine Rift and the Heart and Soul Nebulae. The Pleiades Resource Enterprise makes further advances in Merope. The Anthill mob attempts a counter-offensive, but Federation forces prove stronger. Sirius Corporation announces the deployment of hundreds of deep space exploration probes. It also announces that it's completed its acquisition of Metadrive Incorporated following alleged financial irregularities. Allegations are made that the Metadrive chairman was murdered and that whistleblower Ran Corson, a former Metadrive employee, has been hunted down and killed by Sirius security forces. Figurehead for the EG pilots, Yuri Grom, takes up his post in the Urail system. Kahina Loren is found guilty of attempted murder and is sentenced to life imprisonment at Kuntz Asylum. Ancient ruins are discovered in the Snauf sector, far away from the alien crash sites near the Pleiades. November. Engineer Ramtar appeals for data from the ancient ruins. 2 more alien crash sites are discovered. Admiral Petraeus' flagship is attacked by the children of Raxla, in revenge for the loss of their leader, Kahina Loren. The battlecruiser takes considerable damage and is forced to withdraw. Later in the month, a prisoner convoy is destroyed by the same organisation. No sign of Kahina Loren is found in the wreckage. The Federal Astrocartography Department and the Children of Raxla both issue appeals for exploration data from the Hawkins Gap and Formidine Rift. The Children of Raxla appeal gains the greatest support. The Metadrive audit concludes with no major concerns. However, many documents relating to a project codenamed Exodus are missing, believed taken by ex-employee Ran Corson. Commander Felix Macedonica is rescued from certain death near Beagle Point by a marathon mercy flight by Commander Chigi von Richterfen, who mines the critical jumponium ingredient to let Macedonica continue on his way. December. The Colonia expansion initiative to encourage new factions to establish in Colonia is announced. A competitive trial starts. It'll last until the end of the year. Ram Tar, who's announced no discoveries since his appeal for data from the ancient ruins, is attacked at his laboratory and is forced to move. He then makes a premature announcement about having made a discovery, which he's shortly afterwards forced to retract. Yet another part of the signal from the Cobra in the Tiernasla orbital graveyard is decoded. It points to a specific location on a planet in the Formidine Rift, but all attempts to land on the planet prove unsuccessful. That was the Galnet News Digest Review of the Year 3302. Galnet News. We read the news so you don't have to.